Hello again, this is the Watering Man. Now, when I was doing this series on E equals MC squared, I was going ahead and rocking through it and starting to put them on this, and felt God just kind of hold back on the E. Okay, I've got notes on it, but and then last night I started just getting flooded with some stuff, so I gotta kind of continue with this. If you remember, lightning or light in the E equals MC squared, C squared. That's the speed of light squared, okay? Now, and that's lightning. It's actually, lightning is plasma, the same thing as the sun or a star, okay? Now, that brings us to normally what we encounter mostly is the three phases or states of matter. But you know, there's actually a fourth stage, and it's the one that's I checked it out, and 99.9% of all this stuff that you like, visible stuff. Let me see exactly how they say it here. I know I've got it written down. Yeah, 99% of all visible matter exists in the state of plasma. Lightning. Just like God is light or lightning, plasma. He's on fire for you. And the natural's teaching us about the spiritual. That's the highest realm. That's the first phase of matter, really. The top, like the top rung. Okay? Now look, there's in our natural carnal state, I won't get ahead of myself. There's a solid or like frozen, like take water, okay? And it's in the frozen stage, like in that frozen bridge, rigid. It gets a load put on it from pressures of life, tribulation, calamities, all this stuff that we're put under in these storms. It'll crack and break, no matter how solid, rigid it looks. You put a load on it, like driving out on that bridge with your load, your heavy laden load, like your semi truck full of, so many pounds. It looks like, man, this bridge right here is strong as all get out. 6 lanes and all. 666. Somebody thinking it's just, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I can take it. And you're rigid, like under the letter of the law. Remember, you're as cold. You must be cold as ice and willing to sacrifice God's love on this frozen bridge. It's solid. Frozen, okay? Heat that thing up a little bit. There's the least amount of molecules movement, being pliable to the ways of God, to the thought processes of God. You're rigid. I believe this all my life, and I'm not going to change for nothing. Don't matter if even Jesus come down and told me. Right? That's nonsense. Boom! Okay? You're taking that bridge. You're solid. You get heated up a little bit. So I'm solid. You're rigid. That thing ain't can't hold really nothing much. You get out on it with a little load, and crack, boom, you fall through, right? So that out of 4 states of matter, or states of your existence. Because when you're choosing in that eye of a storm, all these pressures of life, calamities, tribulations, thlipsis, you got to make decisions in there. Even if it's not really seem like a total calamity to you yet. Maybe it's, it seems like a good thing going on, but there's all kinds of decisions to make in there. You taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ or the obedience of yourself, the me, myself, and I, ego. With your 5 senses in there, you're married to those. Seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. That I in the middle, Are you in this frozen, rigid thing? I'll take care of me, myself, and I first. Crack, 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 crack. Boom. It'll fall. Okay? And out here, pliable. Take the pliable bridge. That way is the red way or the broad way. Leads to destruction. Leads to that bridge giving, cracking, and breaking. Because it's too rigid. The letter of the law kills. That broad way takes you to destruction. Left turns takes you down the shitter. Your own shitter. Seen, hear, taste, touch, and smell with that S. With that I in the middle. Gives you the shits, right? The, oh no, down the toilet bowl, right? This stuff sucks. For real, for real. It's not, I'm not going to give you the strength. You're not relying on the strength. Your strength is in Christ. That's the pliable bridge. Going God's way. Whatever He says, that's it. Okay? Now, so solid. Then it comes up a little bit higher. It's like in the natural, when things are moving a little bit quicker, stuff inside of everything, inside this pin, is a bunch of molecules or atoms in there. And they're vibrating. Huh? When it's real, real, real cold as ice, they're not vibrating as fast. Slowing down like towards absolute zero where it totally stops. As rigid can get. That just from crack, break off big hunks and stuff. Big, try to hit it. Try to skim off that stuff out of your mind. Bang your head. Things not going your way. Cry. Hold your breath. Please God, please God. It just cracks and breaks all over the place. As it warms up, to say around room temperature, let's just say room temperature, it's getting fat stuff in it's moving now. A little bit the atoms. Because you're like in agreement a little bit with God. Kind of like an acquaintance realm. See? From idiotic frozen bridge here, you're a total enmity against God. Totally frozen. And you're heading down towards absolute zero. No movement at all. Just break it all. It just breaks under any kind of load. And if you're making a bridge all that, shoot, you probably couldn't even walk across it. Live across it. Exist across that. Crack, crack, bam. Much less take your load across there. Because if you're going down, 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 it's going 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. It's getting to be a heavy load. Your burden in life is getting, oh, whoa, it's me. Bow, now, now. You're looking in the wrong direction. Down, down, down. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Whoa. Right? Pity me, or I can do it all myself. Look at this big old bridge I'm building here. Crack, crack. And you can't take that heavy load across there. Crack, it's going to go down through. God's way is pliable. Okay, now, let's skip this. Frozen. State of matter. State of your existence in your mind. And that, as it's heating up, you're greenlighting God more. You're going His pliable bridge way. Going with the flow of the Spirit like you're resonating with God. Here's it's just a swing in God. You're with God in God's way. In God's green way. You're not bang, bang. You know, like they'd be like, man, stiff neck, crack, crack, okay? You're not pliable that way. You're getting too rigid. You're not you're going against the swing, the flow of the Spirit. Not resonating with it, with the flow of the Spirit. If it's like swinging and you're going with it, you're remaining pliable. To God's will be done. Not my will, but your will, Father. And you choose, as you choose the green way, that green bridge, it's remain pliable, and it's building 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, and it will hold. And it's a narrowing path. This was Broadway. Broad way leads to destruction, narrowing path leads to life. The fullness of life in God, right? Now, hope I was clear on that. I'm kind of, it's an exciting point, okay? Solid, frozen, coming up to liquid. Things are heating up a little bit. Then if you keep heating that thing up, like into natural water, will boil at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. It starts boiling. Huh? And like in your thinking processes, it's just like that. Like in the natural, they dig out or they mine out gold, golden ore, where it's mixed up. It's a lump of both dirt, dust, nasty crap thinking, your own carnal thinking, carnal mindedness, with some gold down inside there. Huh? But then it's put into a refiner's pot where it's heated up, and at each temperature, different impurities. That's not gold, not God's nature, character, authority, not the thought processes of God, not this plasma thinking of God, if you will, lightning of God, zap into the balls of God, the way God thinks. The exact image is exact representation of God. Okay? And as these storms are coming and they're hitting, they're striking you, striking you, the ball of ore that's mined out of your earthly thinking, out of your fleshly thinking, and it's striking you. That storm of life, and it's whatever color mark that is, it's telling them what purity of gold, of God's nature, character, authority, that little ball of your thinking is. And it's like that golden ore. Okay? Which state of existence is it in? Is it in the solid, liquid, gas, the gaseous, or the plasma state? It's like coming out of this stranger realm to the acquaintance, to the friend realm, to the bride realm. Pretty similar, right? Alright. Now, the frozen state is this solid stuff. You're cold as ice. I'm willing to sacrifice God's love. Okay? Liquid is heating up. The atoms in there, all atoms in a material, is heating up a little bit. It's like turning that water from frozen water below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. It freezes. Colder it gets, the harder it gets. It gets like a rock. But it's not the rock of Christ. It's an imposter. It's that squatting dog. Your carnality. It won't hold under the true load of God. God puts that load on it, and he's striking it. Well, it's not purified gold. That's your own carnality. Look how black it is. Right? Keep agreeing and taking that frozen bridge and making a stand in it. It's like standing in your own shits, thinking, your diarrhea, in the cesspool of your carnal mind. The outhouse, you're going to go down the drain. It's all destruction. It's Broadway. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You're feeding from your tree of knowledge of good and evil instead of feeding from the tree of life. God's way. It's 180 degrees. You're directly opposing. Doing an about face to go to God when he gives you opportunity. And the pressures are on. And that pressures is making this movement in it. So you're going from a frozen, stranger realm to a acquaintance realm. You're just like room temperature water. It's just water. It's a liquid now. Go from frozen state of existence to liquid. Then it keep heating it up till you get to 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and it starts boiling. It starts changing into a vapor, to a gaseous state of existence. That water. You're not destroying the water at all. You're just changing it by this heat that's been applied. These storms, this tribulation, this thalipsis, and this fire, this PYR, pyromaniac, pure Poor, P-O-O-R is the way they pronounce it. Okay, but it's pie. It's P-Y-R. It's like the in English is a pyro, pie. That's for purification. God's purifying your thinking processes as He's bringing you through this. Through these states of matter, they're the same thing in your mind, in the spirit. Frozen, rigid, the letter of the law, hardened down, calloused, bullcrap thinking. Stranger around, coming to it's warming up a little bit to a room temperature. It's like that liquid, Water's that liquid, Those thought processes of God. Then they come on up to a gaseous state. It's heated up to its boiling. Just taking this golden ore, like taking the golden ore in that boiling refiner's pot. Taking it, it's got some gold in there, but it's got a lot of old yuck thinking, dirt, and different metals. It's not gold, not the nature, character, and authority of God. Some of them's hard fallow ground. Once it gets up there to boiling at different temperatures of boiling, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, that gaseous state. It's boiling and boiling out, changing that water into a gaseous state. It's boiling out those impurities, melting them off to the top, and God's asking if you want me to skim those off in that eye of the storm. So during this other phase, like getting up to 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees, it's getting hot, kind of hotter than the color here, These pressures of life kind of beat me up, but it's not that bad yet, right? Gonna chop this out. It's ready. Now, when it gets up at 100 degrees Celsius or a boiling point, other impurities start coming out, other metals start floating to the top, melted off. Hard fallow ground inside of your thinking process of this one little ball. All right? Who's melting it? Remember the ball? Here. Now, so it's melting out in that. It's ore, it's mixture, soulish thinking. Both of your fleshly thinking, dust, earth, and the Spirit of God planted, like in your garden. Manure, and dirt on top to fertilize it, and God's seed, little lightning bolts, coming down in there, like 1e to negative 35 thought processes we're dealing with in our mind, right? Deeper, all the way down, right? As those things start vibrating, things getting hotter, it's coming up. It's chopping out, skimming out. Can I do this? What? So I'll chop it out. Hiya, 1961. Coming down from the etymology from Yahweh. Yahweh's 3068. And the etymology of that, 1961. Hiya. Remember that. Karate chop. Bring you back into existence. It's similar to the Genomai in the New Testament. But they translate it something like 275 different ways or something. But it means to be, to become, to come into existence. Chop this stuff out and come into existence up higher. In a higher state of matter. It's purifying your golden ore in your mind. It's down in that earth. It's being mined out of your mind. And then put in this pot and it's come out of this frozen state, a stranger around, coming up to liquid, just kind of liquid, and heating all the way up to like 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point, and then it starts pulling out that hard fallow ground inside of hard fallow stinking thinking, down inside of you, if you will. Earthly, fleshly thinking, different metals. That's not of God, not the purity of God's gold. See, this thing's striking, this touchstone, and it's marking your golden ore, your thought processes, to tell what color mark it's leaving, so you tell what quality, what percent purity of gold it is, like what carat gold it is. A more higher quality of gold is more expensive. Well, God's pearls of great price are the most expensive, and you can't buy it with man-made money. It's experience with God in this relationship builder, this boiling pot. It's refiner's pot. God's baptizing you with the Holy Spirit and fire. And it's copulating and accumulating. Bring you to the EN and SYN. All the other strange realm all the way up there. But it's got to do it a little step by step. In your mind, he's purifying you. Purifying your thinking processes. One ball thinking at a time. Little spots way down in there. All the way down to that string theory. And then from that string, that lightning bolt, he's changing it into little balls inside this ball. And this is one thought process inside your own mind, which is like a ball. The cosmos. Out here in this natural, look how many balls, globes, sphere there is. Earth, moon, stars, they're in the shape of a sphere. Even a raindrop falling from the sky, if it falls to the earth, it's pulling the gravitational pull. Pulling. It's not a teardrop, it's a sphere. When it hits, right? And it's that liquid water. The frozen water, and if it's colder outside, it becomes a snowflake. Frozen. Okay? Now, in this state of matter, state of your existence, which way are you choosing, the red way or the green way? You choosing to go down to the frozen bullcrap thinking of your own carnal mind? That's enmity with God. Huh? It's totally opposed to you going towards and into God's right-mindedness, right? The carnal-minded, to be carnal-minded is death. Ooh, plop. Or froze, right? So now you got the frozen way, down here at the bottom of solid, then the liquid. Things are heating up a little bit. You're green a little bit, but you're not yet plasma. On fire for you, God. But you're green some. Coming on up, it's heating up, and it's purifying stuff out of you. It's chopping stuff out, skimming stuff out. It's purifying this ball you're thinking. And now it's like in a gaseous state up here. As that thing keeps boiling hotter and hotter and hotter, that ore, that mixture, that soulish thinking, that's a mixture of the carnal, fleshly thinking with the seeds of Christ planted in you. Just like a garden. Manure on top, manure and dirt mixed and seeds you got planted down the inside of you. That's where as you agree, that thing grows into a big plant bearing much fruit. Much vegetables with garden. When you go out in the spring and you plant your garden, you don't go out the next day and say, well, is it done yet? Do I get to harvest this stuff and have a great crop? No. You haven't done nothing with it. You haven't agreed, you haven't fertilized, you haven't cultivated it at all. Hasn't went through the season, the growing season. Hasn't been purified at all. Hasn't come out of this frozen thing at all. All this other stuff is totally elliptically surrounding that little seed that God's planted down in there. That seed is God's love for you, that child. Down in there. And it's tiny, 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 tiny. Like 1e to the negative 35 thought processes. God cannot deny himself. No matter how much poop is packed around it and stuff buried in the earth. No matter how much your carnal mind, that's dirt, stinking, thinking with all the poopy manure, fertilizer on it, is trying to kill it out. You can't get rid of that. This is indestructible. But it's tiny, tiny, tiny. The glory of it is tiny, 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 tiny. It hasn't increased yet. It hasn't come back into this, been agreed to by you in the storms, agreeing with God, zap, bringing that lightning bolt, that plasma, into little balls. And they accumulate, they copulate. They come into union, and they rest in God and agree with God. E-N, that's I-N. And it's growing. That's at like 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. It's overtaking all this dirt thinking, but there's a ton of that. There's a whole bunch of that crap on you, in your mind. A whole bunch of nastiness in there. It's ungodliness. But that stuff, remember, is the fuel of this rocket shit. 'cause I'm a rocket man, agreeing into God with all my might. First day, second day, third day, first day, second day, third day, first day in the tomb, second day in the tomb, third day, in the third day, anytime in that third day when God gets it done, this stuff is burned up totally. 1, 2, 3 days, 3 ages in your earthly thinking. 3 days Jesus was in the tomb. And this is that capsule. This thing's been purified and packed down to an immense, glorious state of God. Okay? Now, the 3 phases that we're mostly familiar with would be like the solid, liquid, and gaseous state. Okay? But really, out of all of it, it's only like 99.9% is in that first stage, the top, the highest. Come up higher, be reasonable, sit my way, come up to this heated plasma state of existence. God, He's on fire for you, and it will not fail. It's the most powerful state of existence. You're in total agreement, tightly locked to God, and you're quantumly entangled to this. All of your thinking, it's been accumulated, and it's packed down, like all the way down to a singularity in a black hole, where all the natural forces and the natural are coming back together into that single thought process, way past that event horizon. The ones on the outside can't see nothing. But inside you, God's relationship builder is proving it to you, and it's bringing everything together, and it's holding it together. God's love, like this, is the most powerful. Now, kind of let the cat out of the bag. You start out, it's the frozen, stranger realm, the liquid state. The molecules, the atoms and stuff are moving. Okay? It's warming up. Get up hotter and hotter and hotter, and more stuff's getting chopped out stuff. Then it gets up to a phase where it's being skimmed out, because stuff's getting melted out of you. It's becoming pure. God's purifying you. You're getting a higher quality of God's gold as He's striking with that touchstone. God's proving it to you. God knows who you are. You just got to agree. Be reasonable, my child, and sit my way. He won't put more on you than you can handle. He won't take you from frozen and right up there to gaseous state and just skip all that other stuff. There's many levels. Now, he's purifying it. Okay? Now, in this gaseous state, I got a whole bunch of notes here, but I'm skipping around, okay? Plasma is ionized gas. Okay, this gaseous state, you keep continuing to heat it up, and it's purifying it, melting off different impurities out of this ball. It's becoming more and more purified because you're green. Yes, daddy, yes, daddy, yes, daddy. I want more. I want my 3 bags full. And he's purifying it. Okay? Now, this in the natural, that gas, if it keeps being heated up thousands of degrees Celsius, or even a little bit higher with Fahrenheit, okay? Once it reaches the boiling point, it's kept being heated up and pressurized. Fire, P-Y-R, the purification of God is pronounced pour. And the thalipsis, the pressures, calamities, tribulation, You gotta make decisions. You keep choosing God, and it's purifying. Melt this one out, skim it off. The more you know, the more that you know you don't know. This is in one thought process. God's doing this. Got a lot of that poop, dirt stuff, manure stuff to get up there and burn out this rocket shit in your 3 ages and to get this purified state. Your true identity in Christ. It's a ball, really. That's one thought process. It's coming up that spiraling staircase, remember? Like I don't have my tube on there, but right on up it. Right? Now, so this plasma state's the highest, most powerful state. And it's almost all of stuff in this natural, visible world outside in the whole universe, natural universe. 99.9% of everything, because all the stars and all that stuff, and like even like lightning, is plasma. It's an ionized gas, and it's heated up, keep heating it up hotter and hotter and hotter, thousands of degrees up there, and it turns into this ionized gas. Now, ionized, let me see here, so the most powerful. Anyways, in that ionized gas, yeah, right here, the electrons separate from those atoms. They're knocked out of that atom. It's like ionization. It's radioactive. I'm radioactive. Whoa! I'm part of the I am. I'm plasma man. Right? In that state of existence. Right? Quality of gold is very high. Okay? Now in that, you got a neutral nucleus. Because all the atoms have been put out of that, so all it's got in there is protons and neutrons in that nucleus. And all this empty space in there, it's actually a positive ion. And then you got the negative ion, which is the electrons out here. The world's going to hell in a handbasket out here. And then you got their charged ions, see? So that thing's like lightning. Okay? I'll have to continue later. I'm about to run out of time, okay? Here's the